Alright, here is the video review for Mastermind Creations, reformatted R-39, EBRIUS and GRAVUS, EBRIUS and GRAVUS, EBRIUS and GRAVUS, Mediterranean tacos. Anyway, guzzle and brawn. Guzzle brawn, guzzle brawn, guzzle brawn, guzzle brawn. There was, I remember a while back they showed off a guzzle mold and design that, honestly, I liked a little better than this one. These share the same base body. They look very reminiscent of animated Ironhide and animated Auto Trooper and Iron Fist. You know, that mold, the kind of limb tanks. I do think, like, Guzzle character-wise, I liked Guzzle in Last Stand of the Wreckers. And if you're reading IDW, or if you read the previous IDW series, I guess he hasn't shown up in the current one. Has he? Maybe he showed up in the background. I don't know. But Guzzle, he's not bad. I don't know if it's the fact that he looks more like a frog or what, but I'm kind of digging GRAVUS / Brawn here a little better. So yeah, they're little just four-limbed tanks with little treads on the end. It's hard to get them to sit. It would be nicer if these weren't quite as long and they could sit a little, didn't stick quite so far out the back like that. Like I said, they really look very frog-like. I guess maybe if they give us an animated Spittour or something out of this. Anyway, I would have liked it if these limbs could have been maybe a little bit more matching. I mean, I realize arms and legs are different, but they are. Believe me, it's true. If maybe there was a way to make these little squatter not stick out the back quite as far. GRAVUS has little tail lights. I think that's a neat little thing. Like I said, very reminiscent of his vehicle mode. He's got the headlights, the grill, the tail lights. But essentially, they're the same basic transformation, even if some of the details are different. Now, in here, this little piece on EBRIUS has a couple slots in here that fit over these little tabs right here under the gun. These kind of, they don't lock in place, but it kind of clicks over those tabs. Whereas on Brawn here, it just kind of tucks up in there underneath the, it doesn't really tab into anything. It just kind of slots up in there against the underside. Yeah, they both have the same gun that pegs into the top of them. And EBRIUS is, I'm going to try to use their toy names. They're given names from MMC, but I will call them Guzzle and Brawn interchangeably. His cannon extends, and if you extend it all the way, you get a lot more range of movement out of it. Like I said, when it's pushed all the way in, it wiggles a little bit, but it looks stubby and it doesn't really lift up, and it doesn't, the way the tank is, unless you really just push these legs straight out the back, it doesn't sit level. It doesn't sit quite level, but if you extend it all the way, you can lift it up and have it even point a little above level. So there they are in their base modes without the guns plugged into their back, which makes him look more like a frog. You're gonna hear that a lot. Transformation, again, between the two of them is very similar. You want to come up here, kind of lift this whole back plate up. It untabs, it clips in here in the middle, and kind of pegs into the legs, keeps the legs from rotating here. You can kind of see the orange pegs coming down off the bottom there. But you bring the legs down, rotate them to face forward. There's a little tab here on the back that isn't a part of a ratchet, but you can't push it. I don't know what this piece does. It feels like that should be something maybe you could push it and lock it, maybe collapse the leg down now, because it doesn't collapse anything there. Don't know what that's for. It's a mystery. But yeah, it's on both sides. You take this up, open these up, and you rotate. You can't, even though it has the design, the post doesn't prevent it from folding up into there, but you can really only fold it up with the treads going into the front shin, part of the shin, because if you try to fold it around, the back piece is a little smaller and the tread won't fit through it. So fold it up like that, close this back up. Same over here. Fold it up like that, close it back up, then open up the feet. And his legs are done. So come up here, you've got this lifted up, open up the chest panel here, and then when you lift his up, well, that's not a problem. That's a feature. We'll show that off in a minute. But you lift his head up, and it kind of rotates I guess you can pull his arms out. Actually, I guess you do want to untab the arms from the side, and they're hooked in up here. There's a little gray hook that plugs into the side there. Bring the arms up. That allows you to rotate these panels down. There we go, that's actually better. And then you can get in here, like this whole panel kind of slides around, the hinge slides around as you lift the head up. To raise his head up and slide this panel down to his back. And then this piece folds up, collapses into his chest, and you want to kind of put the main hinge in first and then push this lower hinge in. Make sure it gets all the way in there. And then this piece will sit down there like that and fill in his chest. Lift up his shoulder pads, rotate his arms around. This doesn't really plug into the back, it just kind of sits there, but it won't move too much. Then you open up the panels here on the arms, and then fold this open, flip out their fists, like that. And this panel, it was folded up like this, and these tabs went into these front higher tabs for tank mode. And then for robot mode, rotate the tread under, fold it up, like behind the arm, comes back a little bit, and then this pegs in to this lower peg here. That retracts the treads and lets the hands have some movement. The tread does still sit, it doesn't completely fold away up into the arm, it does still kind of sit here under the hand, but oh well. So yeah, and there's that. Same over here. This is the hardest part, is getting your fingernails under these little panels, because they do get right up against the forearm there. Flip that out, rotate that up and in, close it up with the hinge back, so it kind of sits right up there along that notch, and tab it into those lower tabs, and lift the thumb up out of the fist. The fingers are posable, you can see the thumb's on a ball joint. And bring those forward. These can sit, they rotate down. You don't want to have them like all the way up here, that would look ridiculous, but if you want a little bit of space between these and his hips, you can angle them up a little bit. They don't lock into place in any position, but there is GRAVUS in robot mode. And same thing over here on EBRIUS. It's the same basic transformation, even if the pieces are a little different. You just lift this up, bring the legs down and around. Oh, open this up, treads up. There we go. There's a little tab in here that goes into the, you can see, into the foot bit. Lock it in place. Flip it up, close it up, open up the feet. Bring the arms out. Yeah, untab them from the side, and hook them from the body. These side pieces come down and around. Collapse the tank turret. I guess you could leave it straight too if you want that look. Bring this up, get his head up, and come on. Again, he comes apart too, but that's, again, intentional. Fold his little chest piece up here into his body. Angle these up, bring his shoulder pads down. These should be up by his shoulders. And again, the fact that the sides don't lock in is a little bit more of an issue here on EBRIUS than GRAVUS, because if you have them too low or too high, they don't look right. And and the arms at least are loose enough that you're just moving the arms isn't automatically pulling them down, which is nice. But I wish these were a little tighter, or at least had some little way of clicking into a certain position. But oh well. The arms are the same. Put the tread up and plug it in. I don't know why I brought him behind the camera. Sorry, it's something. A message popped up on my watch. It was just letting me know that watchOS 6 is now available for my Apple Watch. Good to know. Flip this up. Plug it in. Open up the fingers. Bring the thumb up. Open the fingers. Bring the thumb up. And there we go. They both have ball jointed necks. I'm just going to show off articulation on one of them. Of course, the chest pieces rotate, swivels at the shoulder arm moves, but you got in and out motion as well as front to back of the shoulder. A bicep swivel, a dual hinged elbow. This little piece does actually hinge out here, so you've got a pretty decent range of motion in the elbows. There is no wrist swivel, but mostly because of that tread, although there's no joint to allow for it. The fingers are one solid piece, or each one solid piece, but they're individually articulated. The thumb's on the ball joint. There is a waist swivel. There is side to side and front to back hips. There's a thigh swivel, hinge knee, ankle tilt, as well as the posability in the toe and heel piece itself. Now, to replicate the comic, the mold specifically for him, he does just snap apart. There's a little clip up here, and there's a hinge. Oh, he does have an ab crunch as well, and this little tab just clips up in there, so you can separate them. And again, there is an ab crunch there. It kind of hollows out his torso the way it works, but there is an ab crunch there on the robot as well. They can hold their weapons, and again, that's why he was going apart, because it's a lot of the same pieces. But they don't. The weapons, you can see, have a little kind of rectangular peg that does not slot into the hand, nor does it peg into the hand at all. So you just kind of put it in there and wrap the hand around it, kind of push the thumb up against it. You just kind of hope it stays there, because they don't hold their weapons very securely. You can store them plugged in on the back, but if you're just going to leave them plugged in the back all the time, what's the point of having a gun? Like I said, I would have liked it if maybe they'd use kind of that Make Toys Fans Project design of having the groove in the handle and a groove in the hand, so it could have held in a little better. Because they can't hold them. Like, they're not going to drop them once you get it all done, but it's a little bit more of a finicky situation to get them to hold their weapons. But aside from that, like I said, I really do think I'm digging Gravus, aka Braun, a little better, because I don't know, he just looks chunkier and cool. Because like I said, I think I did prefer the previous design on Guzzle. The one extra piece that we haven't seen, but you get the nice plastic bio cards, which I always enjoy. The instructions and comics, there is a hint in here that their next all-in-one, all-built-in combiner is going to be Defensor. Makes me happy. Protectobots. And then the other extra piece you get is, you can see EBRIUS here has a wide-eyed look on his face. You can get a face with kind of a haggard, squinty look to it. And you just, to put that on, I'm actually gonna do this for once. You just unscrew the back of his head. Although I'm going to say right off the bat, it's the first time I've done this, but you just unscrew the back of the head. You can see there's the ball joint there on the neck. Keep going. Didn't quite get it. There we go. And then just screw the other faceplate on. Just line it up. Again, a little easier if you go ahead and tighten the screw just a smidge before you put it back on, because then it can just, you don't have to worry about it getting loose or popping off while you're screwing it on the ball joint. Don't pinch your thumb in there. And now he's got his more haggard looking face on. But yeah, another nice little duo of figures from Mastermind, EBRIUS and Gravus.